في كولتور ديجيتال الليلة عنا حوار مع نجمة من نجوم تيك توك اكتشفناها بغنية سكاتر برين اللي وصلت ل4 ملايين استماع على سبوتيفاي في أقل من جمعتين على خروجها. خلينا قبل كل شيء نتعرفوا عليها. Emei, welcome to Radio Mosaique FM. First of all, how did you start doing music and did you grow up in a special musical environment?
Okay, so my parents are Chinese immigrants and my dad's an accountant and my mom's an engineer. So I definitely did not grow up in a musical household. But when I was 9 years old, I got my first Dell laptop, and what I did in all of my free, it was hot pink, it was very cute, and what I did with all of my free time is I would just look up lyric videos of Disney songs. So I remember I think I was singing along to Selena Gomez and The Scene and a few different Disney stuff, and that's what I did with all my free time. And my parents were like, okay, she seems to enjoy this. And so I actually started performing around New Jersey, doing little gigs here and there in the Chinese American community when I was 10. I'm from New Jersey. That was the clarification there. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just started performing, doing a lot of classical music stuff. I was singing Sound of Music and Ave Maria and that type of music. And I just fell in love with performing, and I loved to just sing in front of other people. It was so much fun for me. And that's when I started really just singing so much more. And then when I was 15, I took a gap year from high school and ended up competing on Chinese Idol. So I took a gap year, went to China, did music there, and that was when I started I don't know, taking it more seriously, I guess, but I was still kind of la la la.
That's pretty impressive to be honest. أمي جاية من عائلة لاجئين صينيين للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وما كان عندهم حتى علاقة بالموسيقى. أما في عمر 9 سنين كيما ندادها بدأت تتفرج على كليبات ديزني وبدأت تغني في المكتب. في الليسي قررت إنها تمشي للصين وتشارك في مسابقة الغناء Chinese Idol اللي بدلت لها حياتها. So Emei, why did you choose China over America to start your music career with such a big step on Chinese Idol?
So it wasn't very planned. When I was from very young, my entire extended family is in China. So it's just my parents and my siblings, the 5 of us are in America. And so every single summer we were going back to China anyway to see our grandparents and all that. And so with Chinese Idol, we really happened upon it. It was auditions were happening when I happened to be in the area visiting my grandparents. So that's kind of how that happened. It wasn't really thought through or anything. It was an opportunity was present. We were sure, why not? So that was kind of that. But I would say that looking back, I think after my Idol experience, I was very much okay, I'm going to do music in China and I'm not going to do music in America, because I felt like I had something to start with. I felt like I had a foot in the door. Whereas in America, it's starting a career here, a music career here, just feels super daunting. My entire life, I don't think I ever really considered doing it. In America, I was China is much more easy to do and America is going to be so hard. And I don't know, everything just, you happen upon it. An opportunity comes, exactly. And you're oh, okay, here I am. Yeah.
So eventually Chinese Idol was such a big step in your career that pretty much launched you in the American scene. اختارت إيمي تبدأ مسيرتها في الصين على خاطر عالم الموسيقى في أمريكا تعتبره صعيب الدخول ليه، وهي بطبيعتها كل صيف تروح لبلادها باش تشوف عائلتها، وفرصة Chinese Idol جات بطبيعتها. So as an indie artist, Emei started on her own. What do you think about labels and their role in developing an artist's music career?
Oh, I'm still independent. I'm still indie. So I've been indie since forever. I mean, I've never had a label support. And it's one of those things, honestly, where it's I don't know, labels are great for just fueling a project. So basically they just give you cash. They just fund it, and they go really, really hard. And it's great when the time is right. But for me, I really want to focus on developing who Emei is and what type of music she makes. I say Emei a third person, but you know what I mean? And for me, I have made it clear to myself that I really want to focus on that in the beginning, especially the first EP. I was very much this is my time to just figure out what the hell I'm doing. And I don't need a ton of people and a ton of support yet, you know? It's just me figuring it out. And honestly, like the more people there is, the harder it gets to really develop that part. So I think that for me, I'm like super happy that I stayed independent. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of like, it's just very DIY. Like everything is like, everything. Like, oh, I have to do cover art. Oh my God, let's pull a Pinterest board. Let's call this person. Do you know a photographer? Do you know someone? Like, it's very like, just like grasping. And honestly, it's really fun. Like, I think that it's like fun to just figure it out in the beginning, you know, before there's any like pressure for people. It's just, you're just figuring it out. But anyways, yeah, I was independent for a while. I didn't have a manager actually for a year and a half. So everything was just like, I literally just got management like last month, like literally last month was, and it's crazy because now I'm like, oh my God, there's so much less to do. I'm like, what do I do now? But yeah, so it was a lot of just me, myself, and I figuring it out, learning, and just asking a lot of people for help and advice. And it was, yeah, it was really fun. A lot of learning. It was like a crash course on music industry. But
so by DIYing the musical process, in your opinion, not everybody needs a label to make it in the music scene, especially in America and in other countries. The most important thing is that you focus on your goals. إيمي فنانة مستقلة ما كانتش عندها علاقات في عالم الموسيقى، وبالنسبة لها الليلة بال مهمتهم انهم يعطيوك برشا فلوس باش تخدم برشا، اما المرحلة اللي هي تستحق لها توا انها تخدم في عقلها اي سورتو تطور الكتيبة متاعها والموسيقى. Let's get to Scatterbrain. So Emei, you teased this song for over a month on TikTok. Was that a successful marketing strategy, and did you relate to the song while writing Scatterbrain?
I mean, I gotta say, like TikTok makes it a lot easier. Like I think that right now it's obviously it's much more like democratic than it used to be, because like I don't have any connections in the music industry. Like my parents don't know anything about the music industry, like nothing, you know. And so for me, it was very much just like, okay, well clearly, I mean, it's just problem solving, right? It's like, how are people doing well right now? It's like before it was YouTube. So I was posting on YouTube to no avail. And I was like posting covers and didn't really think about where I was going with it. And then TikTok came along and I was like, okay, there's a lot of like up and coming musicians that are finding their place through TikTok. And it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, so now you're telling me I have to post every day. I was like, is that what we're doing now?
Yeah, eventually that happened.
But yeah, so, and then in regards to whether or not I relate to Scatterbrain, yeah, I mean, I wrote that song. It was an accident session in the sense that I had another session on the table and then something happened where the person had to cancel, and then I was like, oh my God. And I was like, God damn it. And I spilled coffee on myself after driving 45 minutes. I was like all over the place. And then my friend was like, oh, we want to do a session. Why don't you come over here? I drive across LA again. LA traffic sucks. So I'm driving, I'm pissed. I get to the session and then I'm like, okay, what do we want to write about? And I'm like, Scatterbrain. Like immediately I knew that was what I wanted to say. Specifically the phrase scatterbrain just like spoke to me immediately. And also the frustration of like, damn it, why am I so scatterbrained, you know? And I think that's how it began. And then it turned into this like little love song too, which I didn't expect that to happen. Like I was very much like, let's just write a song about me being really, really scatterbrained. And then as we were writing, I was like, wait, this is kind of interesting because it's kind of about like the people who are closest to me grounding me and making me feel not as scatterbrained as I normally am. And I thought that was kind of special, and it was kind of different than any of my other stuff because I actually haven't released a love song. So that was my first like love song, you know.
So pretty much the feeling of being scatterbrained led to such an amazing success in the music industry. بالنسبة لإيمي، تيك توك ولا توا بوابة كبيرة تخولك انك تخدم على تسويق غنياتك كفنان مش معروف برشا. سكاتربرين جات بعد ايامات حست فيها روحها داخله بعضها وافكارها مبعثره، ومن بعد ولات غنية فيها شويه حب شويه ديزيموشن. دو توت فاسون بالنسبه لها هي الغنية هذه إذا كان ما حستهاش راهي ماهيش باش تخرجها، وهذا اللي خليها توصل إنها تنجح بالصفة هذه كسوسوا على تيك توك ولا حتى توا على سبوتيفاي. Thank you so much Emei for such an amazing interview. I'm gonna leave the floor to you to say something to your Tunisian fans. What would you like to say to them?
All right, should I do it now? Okay. Hi, I'm Emei, and no, one more time, sorry. Okay. Hi, I'm Emei, and listen to Scatterbrain on Mosaic FM.